Greetings and welcome to Pop's Collection, where we dissect and reflect on a movie or TV show from my Pop's Collection. I'm on Tweety. Joining me is Pops. And we're actually going to be doing something a little bit different today. This might be the start of just maybe a kind of a different kind of episode. We're going to call it the list episode, tentatively, I guess. So we're going to share our top 10 list from something that's semi-related to Pop's Collection. So how you doing, Pops?
I'm doing fine. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Hope you can grab your coffee, sit down and relax. Or if you're exercising, maybe you won't be having your coffee in your hand while you're exercising. Probably a good idea not to, but
right.
Yes, when we first started talking about this list thing, I was truly hoping that we would come up with two different lists, which I think we probably will for the most part.
Yeah, there's one overlap. I looked after reviewing the lists, so that's it.
Just one. Wow.
Yeah. My list was already done before you sent yours, so it wasn't like intentional at all. It just ended up being that we share one, and that's it.
Okay, well, that's good. Anyways, it's the list that we're going to do today is anything in particular? Oh,
yeah,
you know what it is, right?
Yeah, we're going to talk about the top 10 superhero teams from our picks. And so, we're playing, we're pretty broad in that definition. So superhero team could be multiple characters at once. It could be just a team up of more than one. That's essentially what we're going to be doing. And so, we're just going to kind of go through the favorites that we've seen and different places and, kind of take it fair. And we'll kind of talk about them as we go through. So Pops has a top 10. I have a top 10. And this is all based on our opinion about, favorites, I guess. So I don't think we're using any real objective criteria to rank these, but
no.
Think about it.
Well, actually, when we first discussed this, I did have a tough time thinking about this because let's face it, I'm Pops. I'm older than you. I've known a lot more team ups than you have.
Sure.
And as a matter of fact, I don't know if you remember it, Marvel used to have a comic that they had called Team Ups.
Mm-hmm. They did.
Where they would team up two different heroes.
Yep.
I thought about that. And then I also thought about my younger days and some of the teams that I used to like.
Yeah.
And I struggled with that a little bit because I thought about putting some of them on there.
Yeah.
I wound up putting a couple on there, but I used to read a comic called Metal Men.
Mm-hmm.
And it was based on a team of characters that a professor took different metal alloys and developed a character Lead.
Yeah.
There was Girl Platinum, a little Tin Man was real frail.
Yeah.
But these characters they acted like superheroes and they would change their shape into something like a lead crate or something that could save somebody,
Yep.
And I really used to enjoy those comics, but seeing as how probably not too many people would know about them, I thought probably not good for the list.
Maybe.
And and so then I thought maybe it's Pop's Collection. Maybe I should go with some of my DVD team ups.
Oh, yeah.
Which is kind of for the most part what I chose to do.
Right.
So anyways, without further ado.
Yep. Let's, we'll get right started. We'll start with you first, your 10th pick. And
okay.
We got Black Widow and Punisher from Avengers Confidential.
Yes. Which I really enjoyed basically because it was an anime animation. It was done in Japan. So we had different characters played by different voice artists.
Yep.
and I just was intrigued by the story. You have a character like Punisher,
Mhm.
who is just black and white. You're a bad dude, you're dead,
Right.
type of thing. And you have Black Widow, Natasha, who is on the other hand uh, manipulative and stealth, trying. If you remember from the first Avengers movie, she was like captured,
Right.
and she gets the call like, "Look, I'm just getting ready to make this guy talk," and she's the one in the chair.
Right.
So so you had these two different characters, and the storyline was very intriguing
Hmm.
and very interesting. There wound up being other Avengers in this, but they are the two main characters.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I haven't seen this at all, so it's an interesting combination. I know that there is, at least in the comics, there's a lot of interaction with, and I think even a romance between Natasha and Matt Murdock, Daredevil. So it stands to reason that she could also tango with Frank Castle as well.
Correct. Yes, but you know, I don't know about Frank Castle. Everything I've ever seen, I really have never seen a romance thing with him.
Well, I mean, given his backstory, it makes sense.
Yes, absolutely. But yes, my number 10, Black Widow and Punisher.
Cool. All right, very good. Well, it's kind of funny. My number 10 also has to do with Japan, but slightly different. I actually went with Big Hero 6.
Very nice.
Yeah. So, I first heard about them. Obviously, we took the family to go see the animated Disney film, which,
Yes.
was fantastic. Loved it a lot. And got to read the comic, which came out in the, I think the 2010s or maybe late 2000s. And it was really cool. It's definitely, when we watched the movie, it was definitely like a amalgamation between Japan and like West Coast USA, the whole city, San Francisco. So it's like obviously it's supposed to be San Francisco and Tokyo, an amalgamation between the two. But in the comic, it's much more Japanese flavored. And the interesting thing is that in the comics themselves, they actually have at the end of them, they have like little vignettes of other, Asian comic heroes as well. So they talk about Silver Samurai, Starfire, and they even had like a little story featuring Yellow Claw, which was really cool. So yeah, I like Big Hero 6 a lot, and definitely it's a unique melding between Western comics and the Eastern comics, which is a totally different tradition, but it very, very alive and well in Japan.
Well, yes, and I do have to say that I feel that the Japanese style comics seem to be more mature.
Mm-hmm.
You
Can be.
know, they well, yes, I guess they can be. I should retract that statement somewhat because I'm thinking about Pokemon all of a sudden, and that's
Yeah, exactly.
definitely. I'm thinking, oh gosh, well,
Yeah,
another good anime,
yeah,
but in a different style.
right, absolutely. Cool. All right.
All right. So number 9 for
Yeah,
me
yep.
out of my Pops collection was Iron Man and Hulk Heroes United,
Hmm.
which they actually came up with two different Heroes United. There was an Iron Man also in Captain America,
Okay.
but for some reason,
Hmm.
can't get it on DVD. So I had to go with the one that I remembered the most. Again, another good storyline. There was, bantering and like there was struggle between the two of them. They, again, two characters that deal with a situation in a different way.
Yeah.
Hulk smash, Stark uses his brain,
Right.
and looks for a different type of solution.
Yeah, that's looking at just the screenshot. The art style is interesting. A lot better than some other Marvel stuff that we looked at.
Right. Well, this is pretty much a CG whole thing,
Yeah.
but it's newer style.
Right.
I know you have seen. My Iron Man series, Armored Adventures, is
Yeah.
all CG, and that CG is not the greatest, but for the time that it was good, you know? But this one is a lot more smooth flowing. The designs are a lot cleaner.
Yeah.
As you can see, Hulk's muscles are really good. I don't know how we could get a shirt over those neck muscles, but then again, he's not wearing a shirt. So,
Yeah. Works out.
yes, but yeah, that was my number 9, definitely.
Very good. All right. So for me, I went a little bit more old school, and I went with the classic Mutant Team Excalibur. And just being able to kind of go back and read the comics that like I wanted to read, but I didn't get a chance to read as a kid. That was one of the first places I went, as I wanted to look at the mid to late 80s Excalibur run with Chris Claremont and Alan Davis, and just this amalgamation. I took actually these are screen captures from the comic, the last page of the first 6 issues. They had like this full page art spread, and you can see they got Phoenix, Kitty Pryde, Nightcrawler, Megan, and Captain Britain. So it's pretty cool.
Wow. That is that's an interesting choice. And
Yeah.
I can't say much about that other than that you did it really nice. I like it.
Yeah.
I especially love the dragon, or I assume it's a dragon, right?
Yeah, Lockheed. Yeah.
Yeah. So I do remember that. Captain Britain,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of makes me reflect on the what if.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, coming up, you know.
Yeah,
So,
that's right.
which leads me to a possible series that we could talk about at the end of the show.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Very good. Number 8.
Yep.
I bet this one blew you away.
Yeah, I was taken back. I had to do some Googling to figure out what it was. But yeah, so tell me more about the Defenders of the Earth.
Okay. This is more of my comic strip collection.
Okay.
Phantom used to be a comic strip during the week and on
Right. Oh, yeah.
Sundays.
Yep.
Mandrake the Magician also. Um, and the Black Gentleman is actually Lothar. He was Mandrake's bodyguard.
Okay.
And then, of course, Flash Gordon
Mm.
fame. And then the children are basically their children.
Oh, okay.
And so what you have is they tried to make the Phantom a little bit more supernatural
Yeah.
type, even though like they would do things like when he was getting ready to fight, they would make him glow and he would say strength of a bear or strength of an ape, and then he'd be able to punch more.
Okay.
But the original story of the Phantom was a really, really good story.
Yeah.
The Phantom is also known as the Ghost Who Walks.
Okay.
Um, he basically, over the years, the Phantom his legacy is taken over by the son.
Mm-hmm.
So the Phantom gets married, has a son. When the son is old enough, he passes on the Phantom legacy. So he never gets old.
Mm.
And his outfit, you never know he's not the same because he is
Yeah.
the son. So a lot of the same features.
Got it.
And the main enemies in Defenders of the Earth, of course, was Flash Gordon's main enemy, Ming the Conqueror.
Gotcha. Okay.
So yeah, it was a good series. Actually, I'm trying to remember, 73 episodes, I think.
Wow.
It was done by Filmation.
Okay. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, which they've done a lot of different things. So
Right.
anyways, I'm glad I made you have to look it up.
No, that's good. That's good. All right, I'm gonna go and share my next one, which you don't have to worry about looking up. You'll probably be very familiar with it, and that is Teen Titans, specifically
Yes.
the Teen Titans Go version. And you kind of turned me on to this with the film Teen Titans Go to the Movies, and you were just talking a lot about it, how really good it was. And I was skeptical at first, but we went and rewatched it this past week with Piper. She was specifically asked to watch that movie, and I mean, I can't remember a family friendly movie watching that and laughing as much as I did with the Teen Titans Go, particularly Go to the Movies, and it was hilarious. It was great.
It is, and the series itself, I think I have one season of the series.
Mm-hmm.
I do have to collect some more of them. I have the older Teen Titans animated, which I really enjoyed, but
Yeah.
this one has a lot more, I don't know, potty humor or just young
Yeah, a little bit of that.
humor. Yeah. But I love the relationships in it, and the bad guys are, it's just really good how Robin tries to be the mature one, but
Right.
never is. Yeah. Very good choice. I love it.
Yeah.
Excellent.
All right, so go to your next one, which was at ranked number 7.
Yes.
Luke Cage and Iron Fist.
And that's exactly from the series that I chose it from.
Okay.
From their interaction in their 2 Netflix series.
Uh-huh.
Although I don't really know that the Danny Iron Fist character in this was, it was played okay, but not my favorite.
Yeah, I think it was the writing that really struggled. And that's the thing, like, you're exactly right. There was one episode, I think, where they actually had, Luke Cage and Iron Fist together, and, they did the really cool fight scene. I was like, oh man, that's exactly what I want. And they only gave it to us in one scene in one episode. And I'm like,
yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
But it's just right. Like,
yeah.
Here you had 2 characters, and you got Luke Cage that's like, there's no way that this guy's going to do anything. And he gets the Iron Fist across the jaw, and it was like,
yeah,
yes, let's see more of that,
Yeah.
But no, one of my furthers, we do get a little bit more interaction in that, but
yeah.
Yes, definitely was good on me, and I left it at 7.
Yep. Good deal. All right, for me, I decided to go a little bit of a different route and go with the Guardians of the Galaxy for number 7. Particularly, I like the lineup that was used in the films. That was my first real introduction to them. Going back and reading some of the other comics, the older lineup with taking place in the year 3000. Trying to remember all the different characters there, Martin X and Charlie 27. I mean, they're interesting characters, but I really think that, what they did with putting them all together in the film really just kind of made you instantly, fall in love with the characters and all that stuff. So I definitely like them now. So,
well, I think that the movie kind of gave you the flavor of it. And I think that if you had all of the original characters, I think it would just be way too much.
Well, I mean, maybe they did introduce them not by name, but like there's definitely those characters now they're part of the Ravager groups at the end of the second film. So I have a feeling that we'll see them again. I'm hoping we'll see them again in volume 3, maybe even the holiday special when they do that. So, but we'll see.
Right, but not as Guardians.
No, they're not as Guardians.
Right. So I think it was a good way to put them in, like you said. I would agree with that. There's certain shows or team ups that look better in the comics than they do on the movies, and others that look far superior in the movies.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so
all right.
Number 6, moving right along.
Yep. Yep. You put the Defenders, and I'm assuming you meant this particular lineup, right? With this
Yes.
Netflix, right? Yeah.
Yes, this was
Okay.
my Netflix version of the Defenders. I toyed around with it, but I said, you know what? I said I'm going to look at my collection and try and go from that route.
Yeah.
So I did. I liked that little Netflix series that they had
Hmm.
with all of them, and they seemed to all interact pretty well together
Yeah.
in that particular version of it.
Hmm.
So, again, sadly, I would have loved to have Iron Fist in his costume, but
Yeah. Exactly.
the only one that really had their costume was Daredevil in the Netflix series.
You're right. You're right. Hmm.
So, I mean, not even Jessica Jones had a outfit. Well,
I
black
think
leather jacket.
maybe not in Defenders, but maybe she had it like in her other series at the very end. I don't remember.
I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
think so.
Anyways.
I own all of them. I had to purchase them from out of country,
Right. Right.
but no,
Okay.
not at all.
Cool.
You're number 6?
Number 6 for me is the Uncanny X-Men, but a specific era of the Uncanny X-Men. So my favorite era is the John Byrne, Chris Claremont version. So this is a screenshot from the splash page they did with Dark Phoenix Saga, and you get a lot of cosmic stuff going on. You get crazy characters. You got colorful costumes. And to me, I think when I think of X-Men, I just think of this era, and I absolutely love that aesthetic and everything.
What a surprise. Chris Claremont. I had no idea you liked him.
Yeah.
That was your second Chris Claremont.
Yeah.
Is
Actually,
there going to be more?
I don't think so. I think this is the extent of it, but
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, we're almost halfway through.
Almost. Yep. And let's
let's go there.
All right, great. Next we got Superman Batman from Public Enemies.
Right. And if you look at the animation there,
mm-hmm.
It looks it's almost close to the animated series.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of why I enjoyed it. The storyline was great. In this story, Lex Luthor is the president of the United States.
Wow.
And he has developed a superhero team with quite a few different superheroes. Captain Atom, different, not really main heroes.
Okay.
And Batman and Superman are kind of trying to do it on their own. And there is a large meteor coming to strike the Earth. So they're trying to get that squared away. And Superman realizes that it's a meteor of kryptonite.
Okay.
So they go into Star Labs to see. They're supposedly a machine, Batman and Superman, and they find the Metallica, whatever. I'm getting his name wrong, but he was a robot or a man, a cyborg that was fueled with kryptonite in his chest.
Okay.
And when they got to Star Labs, he was murdered.
Okay.
And it looked as if Superman had murdered him with his heat vision. In other words, Lex set them up.
Okay. Gotcha.
And so that's why they became public enemies.
Okay. All right.
So it was a good story. It's one we might have to watch.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So that was my number 5.
Yeah. And consequently, my number 5 is also very similar, but Batman and Robin, dynamic duo. So this is the picture on the video is actually from artist Graham Nolan, who I'm a huge fan of, and so obviously
Is
Pretty
this
iconic.
Dick Grayson, Robin?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I
Yeah. Yeah.
just
Not
asking. There's
yeah,
been
not
a
Dick
lot of
Gray.
Robins.
Yeah. There has been. You're right. But yeah, I like the classic. That's probably my first. Probably the first superhero I was aware of was probably Batman and Robin from the 65 movie. Because I remember seeing that on TV. So
Oh, the one with Caesar Romero without his mustache shaved and
yeah,
with all and the oh yes, the booby trap.
the Batman shark repellent. Yeah, all that.
Yes,
Yeah, it's brilliant.
that was absolutely great. I loved it.
Yeah,
Very good choice. A DC
yeah,
in your list.
yeah,
Is
yeah.
that your first DC?
No, I had Teen Titans Go. Remember?
Well, other than Teen Titans.
No, that's it.
So you only had two DC.
Yeah.
Okay, well, hey. All right, so
All right. Let's go to the next one.
number 4.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yes, and specifically based on the movie.
Yeah, I picked the screenshot. I just like the visual with the tails to astonish, and that's one of the fun ones from the '60s.
Oh yes. Well, what I really enjoyed about the movie, other than the story being as great as it is, and that seriousness, comic relief type thing.
Sure.
My favorite part of it was at the credits, all the dioramas.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
I love that. It was like, it kind of makes you feel like, wow, I wish I could do that, or I would love to do that as a hobby,
Yeah.
As a guy who used to have a train,
right,
that I built for you that you never messed with,
Yeah,
but
I'm sure it was for me.
yeah, well, it started off that way.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Anyways,
there's things that I do for my sons as well that it's quote unquote for them, but it's really for me. So it's okay. I know exactly what that's like.
Yeah. The sad part is when you opened it and it was like, we have the picture of your Christmas with the look on your face, like, what the heck is this? Like,
I'm sure it was definitely a surprise.
Oh yeah, it was definitely.
Yeah.
But hey, we did have time together. We went to many train auctions.
Yeah.
And bought you other stuff.
That's right.
That you never played with.
All right, moving right along.
Yeah, your number 4
is Thor and Beta Ray Bill. Probably a big surprise there, but I took this particular cover, which I just I love it so much. I actually have this copy on my own. It's just that the picture of them, fighting the demons together with Stormbreaker and Mjolnir. I mean, that's Thor at its absolute best. Cosmic.
And Samuelson? Is this Samuelson?
Paul Simonson.
Walt
Simonson. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. That's okay. But yeah, just it's so cool. Everything about it is just I don't know. Like, yeah. Anyway, that's my favorite.
Okay. See, we all have our favorites, and I waited for mine, but
yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, I got stuff I like better, but when it comes to Thor, this is definitely my favorite era of Thor.
I would really, really hope that Beta Ray is in the next Thor movie.
He better be.
I don't know if he is, but
I mean, he has to be. They showed his there was
Stormbreaker's his, right?
Well, Stormbreaker's his, and there's a sculpture of him in Ragnarok.
That's true. Yes.
So it's like, I mean,
he's got to be there.
Or I'd be even happy if he showed up in Guardians, the next Guardians movie. That'd be fine too. Or both.
Right, because Thor is in that movie too, right?
Yeah, he's supposed to be.
Okay, so
anyway.
Okay.
All right, next one for you.
Number 3.
That's right. We've got the Justice League, and again, I went to the DC universe and decided to pick it seemed like a crazy cover, and I just wanted to highlight that.
Yes, and I chose it basically because coming out next month is the Zack Snyder JLA on DVD.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
So, and I thoroughly enjoyed his version. He made that movie so much better
yeah,
than from what I originally saw it.
right,
And I did like the characters that they had in that version.
yeah,
Um, for some reason, I mean, after that debacle with Green Lantern,
yeah,
I thought for sure that they would, do something in the Justice League movie, but they didn't,
yeah.
and nor did they have Hawkman in there.
Right, that's true. But they did have a lantern person, right, in one of the flashbacks. Is that right? I think I remember seeing that when they were fighting Steppenwolf the first time, right?
Yes,
Like
yes,
with Amazons and everything. I thought
yes, that is
so
true.
it was just hinted at there. It certainly wasn't Hal Jordan, of course.
No,
Uh, but so you're right about that. Obviously from the cover here, you also got the Atom in there as well. So they didn't have him either.
no, but we did have the Atom in a Lego Flash movie,
Right.
which I would imagine would make Piper's top 10.
Yeah, I think it would.
Yes, definitely. Okay, so for you, number 3.
Yeah, number 3 for me, probably big surprise, is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, particularly the adventure storyline or comic line.
The Archie series.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
I have very fond memories of you hunting down all of the back issues so I could have the full run, and I think we kept it up until like around this time, around the 50s, and so yeah, just a lot of really fond memories of us, reading through those, and them going off into cosmic adventures, which they never did in the TV show. They kind of very rarely would go to Dimension X, which is not necessarily outer space, but them wrestling this mutant from them getting new costumes from their wrestling gig, and them finding other
Right. Well,
yeah,
I will have to say that in the newer series,
yeah,
both, well, the series before this latest
mhm,
series, which I really don't care for that much, but
right,
in that series and the previous series,
yeah,
they did go to outer space.
right,
And
yeah,
there's
so
actually a Turtles in Space
yeah, but
DVD.
back in the 90s they were doing this already, and it was
Oh, yes.
really, yeah, it's the first thing that really got me into comics was this stuff. So obviously it had to be very high on my list.
Yes. And I did have to search a lot for those things.
Yeah,
But I did it for you.
yeah,
So, hey, it's a legacy. I wish we would have kept them.
yeah, I know. All right.
All right. Next up would be number 2, which is almost
Yep,
to the end here. And
yep,
this Avengers, thinking of all the different Avengers
yeah,
groups that there was, I kind of struggled with which one I really liked the best
yep,
because there's a lot of great different stories
yeah,
with different groups.
hmm,
But I chose this one because I felt like it took a lot of different Avenger groups and put them all together
yeah, I agree.
into one large group. So
Yep,
definitely my number 2.
yeah, yeah, I like it a lot too. It's one of those things, like you said, it's that cultural moment that when it all came together at that last those last 2 movies. It was pretty exciting, and ironically, I also have a variant of the Avengers team for number 2, but I went with New Avengers, which was
You did.
yeah, yeah. So this is the thing that got me back into comics as an adult when this came out in the mid 2000s with Brian Michael Bendis, and this lineup with Cap and Iron Man, which are pretty solid Avengers, but you also had interesting additions like Spider-Man, Spider-Woman, Wolverine, Luke Cage, and then they added even a couple more that we haven't even seen yet in the MCU, which I'm still waiting for, but hopefully we'll get there.
It will. It will. Hey, we're on phase 4, and I've already heard a little murmur about a phase 5. So,
Yeah.
uh, I mean, they're just starting phase 4,
Mhm.
basically.
Mhm.
So I can't wait to see about that direction.
Yeah. Very good.
Uh, anyways, this is my number one that we're coming up on,
Yeah.
which for me was totally comic from the beginning
Right.
because the movies are nowhere near close to what they should be.
Okay. Well, that's a pretty good hint of what it's going to be. But I think let's go ahead and do the big reveal. Pop's number one, of course, is the Fantastic Four.
Yes,
And
thing.
yeah, am I knowing that Walt Simonson did a run in the early 90s, I just had to pick one of his covers. And of course,
Of
you gotta get
course.
one where he's fighting a dinosaur, which is just an amazing thing,
Yes. And if you notice the price up there at $1,
Yeah.
for me, when I started reading them, they were 10 cents.
Right. Okay.
So if you can imagine, uh, the storylines that they had back then. And if you think about that, we're talking about the 60s, early 60s, late
Right.
50s.
That's right.
The storylines were still uh, interdimensional,
Right.
space travel. You
Yep.
had the scroll, you had the Kree,
Yep.
uh, you had all these different variations
Hmm.
of storylines. Even there was uh, a Fantastic Four versus the Hulk
That's right. Yep.
storyline that was really good.
Yep.
But this is my first love,
Right.
definitely
Yeah.
from way back.
Yep.
So you?
All right. So this is the one where you had on your list too. So obviously my one is Power Man and Iron Fist, of course. Love that. Yeah. My love of the characters came from the comics as well. Like I went back and got a couple of issues from the 70s/80s run, and I'm still trying to collect and get a full run of that. Is working on that. And then they also did a couple revivals down the road. So I've got this is from 2016 on the right, which I do like the art style. It's kind of fun and a little bit of a throwback as well with Iron Fist. He's got more of a tracksuit as opposed to his normal costume, which is cool. And then
Yes, which
Luke
kind of
Cage.
actually goes with the Danny from Netflix.
Yeah, yeah. So I like that. But what I like, and the reason why it's number one for me, I just think that it's a compelling story where you have, particularly for Luke Cage, he gets put in crime. He gets convicted of a crime he didn't commit, gets put in jail. He takes an opportunity, and then something miraculous happens to him, and then he takes that, and what he does with that, at first he becomes a hero for hire, and so he becomes an entrepreneur. And he's an ethical entrepreneur because when someone comes to him for help and they couldn't afford him, he would still help them anyway or whatever. And so that was that was a recurring theme throughout the early part of the comic. And then he gets at the end of the day, the Power Man numbers and the Iron Fist numbers, which he was in, had his own book for a while. They both had their own book, and then kind of dwindled and decided to put them together. So it's like mixing peanut butter and chocolate together, and you get definitely a new thing. And so just that them interacting as characters, and both of them are brawlers, and so you get a lot of really cool action in the comics, and that's why it was Luke Cage as a Netflix series was good, and Iron Fist was a little bit disappointing. And so I would have liked to have seen a crossover between them, Power Man and Iron Fist, specifically with beyond just the Defenders crossover. So anyway.
Well, I think that that was definitely a good choice for you. I know how much you like them. Do you have number 2, Power Man Iron Fist?
Number two.
Yeah, the one that you have over here on the right.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, good. And is that the series that you're trying to collect the whole part of it, or?
No, well, I mean, both of them. This was a pretty limited run. The 2016 volume.
Uh-huh.
It's not that much. It's just a couple issues. Where the last one was like over I think just over 50. I think they started at issue 50 because that Luke Cage had 50 issues before that, or 49 issues before that, and so they just made it Power Man Iron Fist and started at issue 50. So, and it runs like
that's the one that's on the left.
yeah, that's like I think it's I forget which number that one was. It was a special, I think 75 or something like that. They actually have like they got somebody in to do a special like airbrush looking cover for that, and I thought that looked cool, so I picked that one.
It's very cool, and it's almost reminds me of the Luke Cage flashbacks in the Netflix
Yeah,
series. It
yeah,
does. Yes, and speaking of that, I liked the series. I didn't like the way that it ended.
right.
For me, that was a disappointment because it was like he was going in a different direction.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, like, I think that you could do that like in the 2-season arcs, like the next season you could have him kind of, fall away, and then you could have the redemption arc in the second season or the season after that. Yeah, I think you really could have done that.
Right, if they would have continued.
Right, because like in the comics, obviously he marries Jessica Jones. They have a child together, and so that could be part of the redemption arc. Like I've got tons of ideas about that stuff, but that's
right. Well, in the series, they did have a relationship in the series.
Very briefly, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, but that was a part of the story arc in that, because that was kind of her redemption, having to confess that she killed his woman,
right?
So
that was pretty crazy.
Yes, even though she wasn't in control based on that version.
Yep. All right. Wow. Well, that's that.
That was crazy, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
What I wanted to talk to you about, as far as thinking about shows for later on.
Okay.
Since because I kind of like this particular theme. As you said, we only had one overlap.
Yeah.
And it was interesting overlap. I really thought it would have been, MCU Avengers. That's what I thought, but not. It turned out to be Iron Fist and Luke Cage. So I was thinking, coming up next, I know we're going to have to do something, first impressions for What Ifs.
That's right.
But I thought to just think about this.
Mm-hmm.
How would a superhero from DC, how would he fare against a villain from Marvel?
Yeah.
Or how would what if the Marvel superhero faced a villain from DC? How would they fare?
Yeah.
Just a thought, thought.
Yeah.
And maybe we could put together some lists of what we thought would be an interesting combination.
Sure. That's something we'll talk. I think we can think through. But in the meantime, for our listeners, if you have a different top 10, or if you think that we should have ranked something differently, or we totally forgot about something. I know I'm wearing a shirt that talks about a team up that certainly gets an honorable mention for me, Falcon Winter Soldier, but I need to see a little bit more of the story yet before I put them somewhere on the list. So, but yeah, please feel free to email us, or you can put a note on our social media, put a comment on YouTube or our Facebook, and let's have it out.
Right, definitely. We would love to hear from you, and for the listeners that we do hear from on a pretty regular basis, thank you very much. We do appreciate it. We love that you take the time to listen to us, and we thank you so much.
Yep.
Okay, right. So next week are we going to just let somebody guess, or going to keep them waiting?
I think that's fine. We'll just we'll come up with something, and we'll see you next week. Okay. So with that, again, thank you for listening, and we'll go ahead and close it out here. And of course, like us on social media, and leave us a comment. And we'll see you next week. Goodbye. God bless.
Goodbye. God bless, and tell your friends.